Hey guys, tonight we are talking about the hidden science behind the Pyramids of Giza. Few monuments in human history are as awe-inspiring and mysterious as the Pyramids of Giza. Standing on the edge of the Sahara Desert, just west of the Nile River, these colossal stone structures have watched over Egypt for more than 4,500 years. They are more than tombs of kings, they are mathematical wonders, architectural feats, and cosmic symbols of one of the world's greatest civilizations. This six-part narrative explores the hidden science behind the Pyramids of Giza, from their engineering and construction methods to the astronomical alignments and cultural knowledge encoded within their stones. Part 1. A Civilization of Builders, the Old Kingdom, Egypt's Golden Age of Construction. The Pyramids of Giza were built during Egypt's Old Kingdom, a period from around 2686 to 2181 BCE. This era is sometimes called the Age of the Pyramids because of its ambitious building projects, particularly during the Fourth Dynasty. It was during this time that the kings, often called pharaohs, believed they were divine beings who could unite heaven and earth through their monuments. The most famous of these monuments are the three pyramids at Giza, built for Khufu, the Great Pyramid, the largest of the three. Khafre, slightly smaller, but with the Sphinx standing guard. Menkaure, the smallest of the trio, but still monumental in scale. These pyramids were not isolated structures. They were part of a vast necropolis, a complex of temples, causeways, and smaller pyramids for queens and royal family members. The pharaoh's vision to the ancient Egyptians, the pyramid wasn't just a tomb. It was a cosmic engine designed to help the pharaoh's soul ascend to the heavens and join the gods. The shape of the pyramid rising to a single point symbolized the Benben stone, a sacred object representing the first land that emerged from the waters of chaos at the dawn of creation. The pyramid also echoed the rays of the sun, reflecting the solar worship that was central to Egyptian religion. Kings saw themselves as the earthly embodiment of Ra, the sun god, and their tombs had to mirror that celestial power. Egypt's government, alongside international organizations like UNESCO, has undertaken efforts to preserve these monuments. The Great Pyramid, a masterpiece of precision, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, built around 2580 to 2560 BCE, is the largest stone structure ever erected by humans. Originally, it stood at 146.6 meters tall, with each side of its base measuring 230.4 meters. It was constructed from an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing between 2.5 and 15 tons. But the true marvel is its mathematical precision. Each side of the pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west off by less than 0.05 degrees. The base is almost perfectly level, varying by less than 2 centimeters. The ratio of the pyramid's height to its perimeter is roughly 2, suggesting knowledge of geometry far beyond what was thought possible in ancient times. Organizing a workforce. How did a civilization without iron tools, wheeled vehicles, or modern cranes build such a structure? The answer lies in a combination of organization, ingenuity, and manpower. Historians now believe that tens of thousands of workers, not slaves, that paid laborers and farmers constructed the pyramids. During the flooding of the Nile, when fields were underwater and agriculture paused, farmers would join construction crews. These workers were well fed and housed in nearby worker villages. As excavations have revealed bakeries, breweries, and even medical facilities to keep them healthy. Tools of stone and copper. The Egyptians didn't have steel, but they made do with copper chisels, dolerite pounding stones, and wooden sledges. To cut limestone and granite, workers hammered with dolerite balls, harder than granite, until the stone cracked. Transporting the stones was another challenge. Workers likely used sledges pulled over wet sand, which reduced friction and made the massive blocks easier to move. Experiments have shown that pouring water on sand can cut the force needed to drag a block by 50%. A sacred landscape, the placement of the Giza pyramids was not random. They were built on a limestone plateau that offered a stable foundation, near the Nile for transportation of materials, and in alignment with celestial bodies. Some researchers believe the three pyramids were positioned to mirror the stars of Orion's belt, which was associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. This alignment, whether intentional or not, adds a layer of astronomical mystery to Giza's design. The Sphinx and the Pharaoh's power guarding the Giza Plateau is the Great Sphinx, a monumental sculpture with the body of a lion and the face of a pharaoh-likely Kafir. Carved directly from the limestone bedrock, the Sphinx may symbolize the pharaoh's role as a divine protector. The Sphinx, like the pyramids, was part of a grand vision, a sacred landscape meant to guide the dead king's soul into the stars. Part 2. Engineering Secrets of the Pyramids. The Pyramids of Giza have stood for over 4 millennia, defying time, weather, and human curiosity. Their enduring mystery is due not only to their size and symbolism, but to the ingenious engineering techniques that allowed ancient builders to achieve a level of precision unmatched until modern times. Planning and surveying the Great Pyramid before the first stone was laid, careful planning was essential. The Egyptians were masters of geometry and land surveying, which they had developed to manage agricultural fields after the annual Nile floods. These skills were applied on a monumental scale when building the pyramids. The base of the Great Pyramid is a nearly perfect square, with each side aligned to the 4 cardinal directions. Modern studies show the error margin is less than 0.05 degrees, which is extraordinary considering they had no compasses or modern measuring tools. How did they achieve this? Scholars believe they used the stars. Specifically, they may have observed the rotation of 2 circumpolar stars, Mizar and Kakub, to establish true north. To square the base, they could have used rope stretchers, skilled surveyors who used knotted ropes and wooden stakes to create precise right angles. Building the foundation, the Giza Plateau offered a natural advantage, a limestone bedrock foundation. The builders leveled the area by cutting shallow trenches and filling them with water, ensuring the ground was perfectly horizontal. By marking the waterline on the trench walls, they could identify and remove high points in the rock. This method produced a level base accurate within centimeters, critical for the stability of the massive structure. Ramps and construction theories. The most debated question is how the Egyptians lifted millions of massive stones to such heights. Several theories exist. 1. Straight ramp theory. A long, straight ramp made of mud brick and limestone debris may have extended from the base to the upper levels. While plausible, this would have required enormous amounts of material, possibly more than the pyramid itself, and would have to be dismantled later. 2. Zigzag or spiral ramps. Another theory suggests a zigzagging ramp along one face or a spiral ramp wrapping around the pyramid. This design would have saved material and allowed builders to transport stones higher in stages. 3. Internal ramps in 2005. French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin proposed that the Great Pyramid contains an internal spiral ramp built into its structure. This hidden ramp might still exist, forming a square spiral path used to haul stones to higher levels. Modern scans have detected anomalies that could support this theory. The lever and counterweight system, in addition to ramps, simple tools like wooden sledges, rollers, levers, and counterweights were used. For particularly heavy granite blocks, workers might have used a combination of ramps and counterweights, similar to a seesaw of stones incrementally. The Egyptians' genius lay not in complex machinery, but in the efficient use of manpower and simple tools, applied with mathematical precision. Granite from Aswan, the inner chambers, including the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid, were built from red granite quarried in Aswan. over 800 kilometers away. These massive blocks, weighing up to 70 tons, were floated down the Nile on wooden barges during the annual flood, which made transportation easier. Once at Giza, they were dragged up ramps using sledges, lubricated sand, and the sheer strength of teams of workers. Designing the internal passages, the interior of the Great Pyramid is as impressive as its exterior. The Grand Gallery, a sloping corridor 8 meters high, leads to the King's Chamber, which is built with a corbelled ceiling designed to distribute the weight of the stones above. Above the chamber, 5 relieving chambers of granite beams prevent the structure from collapsing. This demonstrates the Egyptians' advanced understanding of load distribution and stress management in architecture. Mathematics hidden in stone, some researchers believe the pyramid encodes advanced mathematical and astronomical knowledge. The ratio of the Great Pyramid's perimeter to its height approximates 2 pi, suggesting knowledge of the relationship between a circle and its radius. The angle of the pyramid slope creates a ratio close to the golden ratio, which appears in many natural and artistic forms. The base is oriented almost perfectly to the cardinal directions, possibly symbolizing harmony with the cosmos. While some claims are speculative, there's no doubt that the pyramid builders possess remarkable mathematical skills. Workforce and logistics. Recent archaeological discoveries near Giza reveal evidence of a workers' village that housed thousands of laborers. These workers were organized into teams and subsisted on a diet of bread, beer, onions, and meat, suggesting they were well cared for. Graffiti found on the stones mentions teams with names like the Friends of Khufu or the Drunkards of Menkaure, indicating a sense of pride and camaraderie among the builders. Enduring mysteries. Despite centuries of study, questions remain. Were hidden ramps truly used inside the structure? Did the builders use advanced surveying instruments now lost to history? Was the pyramid's design purely functional, or did it encode spiritual and astronomical messages? These mysteries continue to fuel both scholarly research and popular imagination. Part 3. Astronomy and Cosmic Alignment. The Pyramids of Giza are more than just monumental tombs. They are cosmic markers, carefully aligned with the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. Ancient Egyptians believed that the soul of the pharaoh would ascend to the heavens after death, joining the gods in the celestial realm. Thus, the pyramids were designed not only to house the body of the king, but to connect him to the cosmos. Perfect cardinal alignment. One of the most striking features of the Great Pyramid is its precise alignment to the 4 cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. The north-south axis deviates from true north by less than 0.05 degrees. This level of precision rivals even modern surveying techniques. How did they achieve this? It's believed that Egyptian architects used the stars. One likely method involved observing 2 circumpolar stars, such as Mazar and Kakab, as they rotated around the celestial pole. When both stars were vertically aligned, surveyors could establish true north. Another method may have involved using the shadow of the sun during the equinox. By observing the shortest shadow cast by a vertical rod, they could determine the east-west line. The Orion correlation theory. In the 1980s, researchers like Robert Bauval proposed the Orion correlation theory, suggesting that the 3 pyramids of Giza were intentionally arranged to mirror the stars in Orion's belt. The Great Pyramid aligns with Alnitak, the brightest star. The Pyramid of Khafre corresponds to Alnilam, slightly offset. The smallest, Menkaure, matches Mentaka. This correlation would have spiritual significance because Orion was associated with Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife. By aligning the pyramids with Orion, the Egyptians might have created a celestial stairway for the pharaoh's soul. While the theory remains debated, the idea of stellar alignment is supported by ancient Egyptian texts, which speak of the king's soul becoming a star in the night sky. The sun and solar symbolism. The The sun played a central role in Egyptian religion, symbolizing rebirth and eternal life. The pyramid's shape, with its four triangular faces, may represent the rays of the sun. The smooth white casing stones, now mostly eroded, once reflected sunlight so brightly that the pyramid would have gleamed like a beacon in the desert. Each pyramid's mortuary temple was connected to a causeway leading to the Nile Valley, aligned so that the rising or setting sun could illuminate the temple during specific times of the year. This solar orientation reinforced the pharaoh's divine connection with Ra, the sun god. Equinox and solstice alignments. Studies of the Giza complex suggest that the pyramids may have been aligned to capture specific solar events. For instance, during the equinoxes, the setting sun aligns almost perfectly between the Great Pyramid and Khufu's pyramid when viewed from certain points in the necropolis. This alignment might have been part of ceremonial observances, marking key moments in the agricultural calendar. The Nile's flooding, planting, and harvest seasons were all tied to solar cycles, making the pyramids both sacred and practical as astronomical markers. The star shafts of the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid of Khufu contains narrow shafts extending from the king's and queen's chambers. These shafts, angled upwards, do not lead to the exterior but seem to point toward specific stars. One shaft aligns with Orion's belt, reinforcing its link to Osiris. Another points toward Sirius, associated with the goddess Isis. Others are directed toward circumpolar stars, which never set and were seen as immortal. The alignment of these shafts suggests the builders had a sophisticated understanding of stellar movements and designed the pyramid as a cosmic gateway. Mathematical and geometric secrets. The geometry of the Great Pyramid may encode not only spiritual but also astronomical knowledge. The base perimeter and height form a ratio close to 2, hinting at a link between the circle and the square earth in heaven. The pyramid's slope of roughly 51.5 degrees allows the height to relate to the base with remarkable precision, possibly reflecting a cosmic or symbolic harmony. Some scholars argue these dimensions were intentional, encoding cycles of time or celestial measurements, while others suggest they are coincidental results of practical building choices. Regardless, the pyramid remains a masterpiece of both form and function. The Milky Way is a celestial Nile. The ancient Egyptians often viewed the Milky Way as a heavenly version of the Nile River. In this context, the pyramids, aligned with Orion's belt, may have symbolized the islands or mounds of creation floating on this cosmic river. The pharaoh's soul, traveling through the stars, would sail this celestial Nile to join the gods. A calendar in stone, the pyramid complex also functioned as a calendar. By observing the shadows cast by the pyramids, priests could track the passage of time with remarkable accuracy. This was critical for agricultural planning, temple rituals, and religious festivals, which all depended on the solar year. Astronomy is sacred science. For the Egyptians, astronomy was not a separate science, but part of their religion. The movement of stars and planets reflected the will of the gods. By aligning their monuments with the heavens, they sought to bring order to the cosmos and ensure the pharaoh's eternal journey. Modern discoveries and celestial scans, recent technologies like 3D modeling and satellite imaging have confirmed the extraordinary accuracy of the pyramid's alignment. Some researchers have even suggested that the ancient builders could predict precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of Earth's axis, though this remains a topic of intense debate. Regardless of how much they knew, it's clear that the pyramids were not just tombs, but cosmic machines, designed with both practical and spiritual intentions. Part 4. Workers, Logistics, and the human side of construction. Behind the grandeur of the Pyramids of Giza lies a story of human effort. Contrary to popular myths of slaves being forced to build these monuments, modern archaeology reveals that the pyramids were constructed by skilled workers and seasonal laborers who were well-fed, organized, and proud of their work. The construction of the pyramids was not just an engineering feat, but a remarkable exercise in logistics, teamwork, and national unity. Who built the pyramids? For centuries, Western historians believed the pyramids were built by slaves, a misconception reinforced by early Greek accounts like those of Herodotus. However, evidence from excavations near Giza tells a different story. The builders were paid laborers, recruited from farming villages across Egypt. During the annual Nile flood, when farming was impossible, thousands of workers joined construction teams, effectively turning idle agricultural labor into a state project. Skilled artisans, engineers, and stonecutters were permanent staff who oversaw the process year-round. The workers' village in the 1990s, archaeologists uncovered a large workers' settlement south of the Sphinx. The remains included dormitories and barracks for thousands of laborers, bakeries and breweries capable of producing massive quantities of bread and beer, butchered cattle and fish bones, suggesting workers had a high-protein diet. This village was not a slave camp, but a bustling, organized community. Workers lived in groups, shared communal meals, and were given medical care, a rarity in ancient times. Evidence of healed injuries shows that even severely injured workers were treated, reflecting the value placed on their contributions. Team spirit and organization. The pyramid builders were divided into teams, often named with a mix of humor and pride. Inscriptions found on stone blocks refer to groups like the Friends of Khufu, the Drunkards of Menkaure, the Vigorous Crew. Each team consisted of about 40 workers, with supervisors, foremen, and scribes to track progress and rations. This military-like organization ensured a steady flow of materials and coordinated thousands of men working simultaneously on different parts of the pyramid. Food and rations workers were fueled by a simple but nutritious diet. Archaeological evidence suggests they consumed bread and beer as daily staples, onions, garlic, and radishes believed to boost strength, fish and meat for protein, dates and figs as quick sources of energy. Enormous bakeries baked bread in clay ovens day and night, while breweries produced beer in clay vats, likely a low-alcohol, nutritious drink consumed instead of unsafe water. Tools of the trade without iron or steel. Egyptian builders relied on copper chisels and saws, which were frequently resharpened. Dolerite pounding stones used to shape hard granite. Wooden sledges to transport blocks across the desert. Rope and levers for lifting and adjusting stones. Experimental archaeology has shown that with proper teamwork, a group of 20 men could move a 2.5-ton block using a wooden sledge on wet sand. This insight confirms ancient depictions showing water being poured in front of sledges to reduce friction. Moving the stones, transporting 2.3 million stone blocks to the pyramid site required a combination of land and river. Transport. Limestone was quarried locally, often right next to the pyramid site. Granite, used in the inner chambers, came from Aswan, over 800 kilometers away. It was floated down the Nile on barges during the annual flood. Once on land, sledges dragged the stones along prepared paths, possibly using wooden rollers or lubricated mud. The construction process was layered. Each layer of the pyramid was completed as a horizontal ring of stone blocks, with ramps allowing workers to drag new blocks up as they built higher. The ramp problem. One of the biggest logistical puzzles is the ramp system. A single, straight ramp long enough to reach the top of the Great Pyramid would have required millions of cubic meters of material, more than the pyramid itself. Therefore, many experts believe multiple ramp systems were used, a straight approach ramp for the lower levels, zigzagging ramps along the pyramid's face as the structure rose. Possible internal ramps hidden within the pyramid itself, as suggested by modern scans. These ramps were dismantled or buried once construction was completed. The workforce's daily life for a pyramid builder was challenging but not as grim as once believed. Workers worked long hours under the desert sun, but they also had moments of rest, music, and storytelling in the evenings. Priests conducted rituals to bless the construction, ensuring the pharaoh's eternal life. Musicians and dancers entertained workers during festivals or days off. Workers painted graffiti on the stones, often making jokes about their teams or celebrating milestones. Health and medicine excavations have uncovered skeletons of pyramid workers with signs of healed fractures and surgical care. Broken bones were set, and infections were treated with honey and herbal remedies. This evidence shows that workers were not disposable labor, but valued contributors to a sacred royal project. A national project. The construction of a pyramid was not just the work of a king, it was a nationwide effort. Every village and town sent laborers, supplies, or resources. Building a pyramid became a source of national pride and religious devotion, uniting the people in the belief that they were helping secure the pharaoh's place in the afterlife, and by extension, ensuring the prosperity of the entire land. The time frame of construction, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, is believed to have taken around 20 years to build. This is remarkable considering the scale of the project and the tools available. On average, one block had to be placed every 2 to 3 minutes during working hours. Such efficiency required careful scheduling, constant delivery of materials, and tireless teamwork. Legacy of the workers, the laborers who built the pyramids, remain anonymous in history, yet their work stands as one of humanity's greatest achievements. The pyramids are not just monuments to kings, but also to the collective skill, perseverance, and ingenuity of ordinary Egyptians who turned stone and sweat into immortality. Part 5. Symbolism, Religion, and Hidden Chambers. The Pyramids of Giza were not merely tombs. They were sacred symbols of eternity and the pharaoh's divine power. Every angle, every passageway, and every stone was designed with profound religious and cosmological meaning. These structures embodied the Egyptians' belief in the afterlife, their gods, and the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The pyramid as a cosmic ladder. To the ancient Egyptians, the pyramid was a pathway to the stars. The pharaoh was believed to ascend to the heavens after death, joining the gods and becoming one with Ra, the sun god. The pyramid's sloping sides represented sun rays, which would guide the king's soul upward. Texts carved inside later pyramids, known as the pyramid texts, describe the king climbing a stairway to the sky to join the celestial gods. The pyramid's form also echoed the Benben stone, the primordial mound of creation that first emerged from the waters of chaos. By building a giant Benben, the pharaoh symbolically recreated the creation of the world. The journey of the soul. The interior design of the Great Pyramid reflects the pharaoh's spiritual journey. The descending passage may represent the path to the underworld. The ascending passage and grand gallery symbolize the soul's rise to the heavens. The king's chamber, with its red granite walls, was the eternal resting place of the king's body and spirit. Some scholars suggest that the pyramid's internal shafts, aligned with specific stars like Orion and Sirius, were intended as soul tunnels, pathways through which the king's spirit could travel directly to the celestial realm. The role of Osiris in the afterlife. In Egyptian religion, death was not an end, but a transition. The pharaoh, seen as an incarnation of Horus in life, became Osiris, the god of the afterlife and death. The pyramid complex was designed as a resurrection machine, ensuring that the pharaoh would rise again, just as Osiris was reborn. The mortuary temples at the base of each pyramid were places where priests performed daily offerings and rituals to sustain the king's soul. The Great Pyramid's hidden chambers. Despite centuries of exploration, the Great Pyramid still holds secrets. In 2017, researchers using cosmic ray muon scans discovered a large, previously unknown void above the Grand Gallery, this hidden chamber, over 30 meters long, has yet to be explored. Its purpose is unknown. It could be a structural cavity, a ceremonial room, or part of a hidden network of passages. This discovery proves that the Great Pyramid may still conceal knowledge of ancient construction techniques or religious practices. The pyramid complex, more than just a tomb, each pyramid at Giza was part of a larger ceremonial landscape, which included a valley temple, located near the Nile, where the king's body was prepared, a causeway, a long raised path leading to the pyramid, decorated with carvings, a mortuary temple at the pyramid's base where offerings were made, smaller pyramids for queens and nobles, as well as mastaba tombs for high officials. This entire layout symbolized the journey from life to death and ultimately to eternal rebirth in the afterlife. Solar worship and the pyramid's shape. The pyramid's shape and orientation were tied to the worship of the sun. Pharaohs of the fourth dynasty called themselves sons of Re. The rising and setting sun marked the eternal cycle of death and rebirth, mirrored in the king's journey. At sunset, the pyramid's shadow stretched across the desert, symbolizing the king's reach into eternity. The hidden knowledge and dimensions. Some researchers believe that the pyramids encode mathematical constants and measurements. The perimeter of the Great Pyramid's base, divided by its height, is close to 2, possibly representing the circle and the cycle of life. The dimensions of the pyramid may also reflect Earth's size and proportions, a theory debated but intriguing. The slope of 51.5 degrees aligns with the sacred ratio used in later Egyptian art and architecture. Whether intentional or not, the Great Pyramid is a masterpiece of geometry and proportion. Mysteries of the Sphinx, the Great Sphinx, carved from bedrock near Khafre's pyramid, is one of Egypt's most enigmatic symbols. With the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh, it represents both royal power and divine protection. The Sphinx faces east, watching the rising sun. Some researchers believe it may have acted as a solar marker, aligning with the solstices. Legends of hidden chambers beneath the Sphinx persist, though none have been confirmed by scientific surveys. The pyramid as a political and spiritual tool. Building a pyramid was as much about power as it was about religion. By commissioning a massive monument, the pharaoh demonstrated his divine authority, united the country in a massive cooperative project, secured his place in history and the afterlife. For the people, participating in the construction was a way of serving the gods and ensuring their own prosperity. Enduring mysteries, even with modern technology, questions remain. Are there undiscovered chambers or texts hidden inside the pyramids? Did the builders encode astronomical cycles or sacred numbers intentionally? Could the pyramids hold knowledge of an earlier lost civilization? These mysteries fuel endless research and fascination, reminding us that the pyramids are as much symbols of mystery as they are of human achievement. Part 6, Legacy, Modern Discoveries, and Enduring Mysteries. The Pyramids of Giza are not only engineering marvels of the ancient world, they are enduring testaments to the ingenuity and ambition of humanity. Even after 4,500 years, these structures continue to inspire awe, debate, and fascination. The legacy of the pyramids stretches far beyond Egypt, influencing architecture, mathematics, and cultural imagination across the globe. The pyramids in antiquity. For thousands of years, the pyramids of Giza stood as symbols of Egypt's power and sophistication. Even in the time of the ancient Greeks, they were considered wonders of the world. Greek historians like Herodotus wrote about the pyramids, though often mixing fact with myth. Visitors marveled at their size and speculated endlessly about how they were built, attributing them to giants, gods, or mysterious lost technologies. During the Middle Kingdom and later periods, the pyramids inspired smaller but still impressive tombs. Pharaohs sought to replicate the grandeur of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, though no later pyramid matched their scale. The Great Pyramid as a wonder of the world. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is the only surviving structure of the seven wonders of the ancient world. It remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth for over 3,800 years until the construction of medieval cathedrals and later, the Eiffel Tower, even stripped of its original gleaming white casing stones. Its immense size continues to impress visitors from around the world. Its survival is a testament to both advanced engineering and the sheer durability of stone compared to other materials used in ancient architecture. Pyramids and the knowledge of time. Some researchers believe the pyramids were also timekeepers. Their alignment with the stars and the solstices could have been used to track the passage of the year. The Giza complex, when viewed from above, has been linked to constellations like Orion and the Milky Way, which the Egyptians associated with the gods Osiris and Isis. The positioning of the pyramids along the west bank of the Nile symbolized the land of the dead, as the sun set in the west and was reborn in the east. This cosmic orientation reinforced the pharaoh's journey into eternity and kept the monuments tied to the eternal cycles of the sky. Modern scientific tools unveiling ancient secrets in recent years. Cutting-edge technology has revealed new insights into the construction and inner workings of the pyramids. Thermal scans have detected anomalies that may indicate hidden chambers. Muon radiography revealed a massive void above the Grand Gallery and the Great Pyramid still unexplored. 3D reconstructions and computer simulations help archaeologists test theories about ramp systems and stone transport. Each new discovery underscores how much there is still to learn about these iconic monuments. The debate over lost knowledge. Some scholars argue that the precision and complexity of the Great Pyramid suggest a level of knowledge beyond what we credit to the Old Kingdom Egyptians. The near-perfect alignment with true north and the exact geometry of the pyramid have led to speculation about advanced mathematics or astronomical observations. Fringe theories suggest influences from a lost civilization or even extraterrestrial beings, a notion rejected by mainstream archaeology but still popular in popular culture. While these ideas remain controversial, they highlight the sense of mystery that the pyramids still evoke. The pyramid's global influence. The form of the pyramid, simple, stable, and powerful, has influenced architecture across cultures and centuries. The Mesoamerican pyramids of Teotihuacan and the Maya bear a striking resemblance, though developed independently. Modern architecture, from the Louvre Pyramid in Paris to skyscrapers and memorials, borrows the pyramid's shape for its symbolic strength and stability. The pyramid stands as a universal emblem of endurance and timelessness. Preservation challenges today. The pyramids face threats from erosion, pollution, and mass tourism. Egypt's government, alongside international organizations like UNESCO, has undertaken efforts to preserve these monuments, limiting excavation to non-invasive technologies to prevent structural damage, controlling tourism to reduce wear on the stones, protecting the Giza Plateau from urban sprawl. Despite these challenges, the pyramids remain one of the most visited and photographed sites on Earth. The pyramids as cultural icons. Beyond their historical importance, the pyramids have become icons of human achievement. They appear in films, literature, and even corporate logos, symbolizing stability, power, and mystery. In popular culture, they are often linked to hidden treasures, secret chambers, and mystical knowledge. They inspire countless documentaries and scientific studies, blending archaeology with cutting-edge research. Lessons from the builders. The construction of the pyramids offers lessons that extend beyond engineering. Organization and cooperation were as crucial as technical skill. Tens of thousands of workers, farmers, and artisans collaborated under a shared purpose. The pyramids remind us that monumental goals require collective effort, vision, and perseverance. They highlight the connection between practical science and spiritual belief, showing how ancient people merged technology with meaning. A timeless mystery, even after centuries of study, the pyramids refuse to give up all their secrets. What is the true purpose of the newly discovered void in Khufu's pyramid? Were there advanced surveying tools that we have yet to uncover? Could there be texts or artifacts sealed within the pyramid that explain its construction in detail? Each unanswered question keeps the spirit of exploration alive. The pyramid as a symbol of eternity. For the ancient Egyptians, the pyramid represented immortality. By building a structure that could endure for millennia, the pharaoh ensured that his name and legacy would live on. In this they succeeded. The names of Khufu, Khafre, and Menjauer are still remembered today, thousands of years later, while their pyramid tombs continue to dominate the horizon. The Pyramids of Giza are more than stone monuments. They are time capsules of human history, ingenuity, and belief. From their astronomical alignments to their mathematical precision, they embody a fusion of science and spirituality that remains unparalleled. As we continue to explore their secrets with modern technology, we not only uncover the past, but also learn lessons about what humanity can achieve when driven by vision, faith, and collaboration. The pyramids are a reminder that, like the ancient Egyptians, we too can build legacies that stand the test of time. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe for more videos. Sweet dreams.